Hey guys, it's Flipping Genius Finds, and today I'm doing a video on what sold for the month of May. Items that sold for $50 and over. These are all my sales for items that have sold for over $50. And so let's get to it. This is a Divine Servant, solid resin sculpture, Max Greiner, Junior, 4 3/4 inches tall. This item sold for, I took an offer on it for $80 plus shipping. This is the Manta Ray, sculpture, bronze, brass, marble green base, vintage statue, SPI gallery. I took an offer on this item for $80 plus shipping. This actually sold within like 2 months. It's from the SPI gallery. It's a modern piece. Next we have the Star Wars 1977 Chewie, Chewbacca mug Stein, 20th Century Fox Film Corp, 27 RUMPH. I believe this was on sale for 30% off, and it was sold at the price of $76.99 plus shipping. Next we have the green uranium depression glasses, LW2 Liberty Works water goblets flower basket. It was listed for $149.95 and is sold for the full price of $149.95. However, it did take a long time to sell. So it did take about 7 months to sell. And you can see it is a set of 6 glasses, about 5.5 inches tall. We have a Blenko Glass Vase Cobalt Blue with topaz coil, signed by Richard Blenko. It does have minor flea bites and scuffs on the lip. It was listed for $99.95. It took about 11 months to sell. It was on a 20% off sale and it sold for $79.96 plus shipping. You can see the bottom is signed right here. The year 2000, which makes it a vintage item. There are some bubble inclusions. You have the sticker right here. A little bit of chipping on the lip. Still overall a very nice looking vase. Next we have this Royal Delft Bluebird and floral vase, hand painted, 1939 porcelain fles, signed. It does have some crazing and it is very old, almost an antique. It's about 85 years old. It is about 6.5 inches tall. There is a website that you can go to, and by the markings right here, you can get the artist's name and the date that it was actually produced. It does have a little bit of paint chipping right here, as you can see in the photo. It was listed for $149.99. It sold for $127.49 plus shipping, and it took about 2 months to sell. Next, we have the Sailor Moon S Heart Collection 456 DVD 2004, the Geneon Signature Series. This was just in acceptable condition. This item was listed for $59.99. I did take an offer on it for $50. It took about 6 months to sell. We have the Maison, Berger, Paris, or Lampe Burger Temptation Chocolate Lamp Limited Edition. And I did take an offer on it for $50. Also, this was an international sale, and it sold within 2 months. You can see there are some scratches right here. Now just know that this is an empty bottle. There are no liquids or flammable fluids. If it does have flammable fluids inside, it does have to go by ground shipping. Any type of like perfume or like matches, anything that's flammable, lithium batteries, things like that, they have to go by ground shipping only. So just be aware of that. This is an empty bottle. There are no fluids inside. I'm not really sure, but I don't think you can sell it internationally if there were fluids inside, especially if it's like an open bottle fluid. Sometimes if they're sealed and stuff like that, you might be able to sell it international or ship it internationally, but I think they require special customs or special guidelines to ship those items. Next, we have the Prague Czech Republic Starbucks coffee mug, 16 ounces relief 3D collector series. I listed this for $69.95. I took an offer on it for $45 plus shipping. It did take about 9 months to sell. Some Starbucks mugs go for a really high dollar amount, especially if you can find, I forgot, it's one of those places, I don't remember exactly. Those can go for like a couple of $100, $600, $500. I'm still looking for those. I haven't been able to find one yet. Hopefully in the future I will be able to find one and sell it before the market trend goes down. Now this is a royal purple fairy lamp, art glass ruffled bottom, 5.5 inches wide. It's the base only, and usually these fairy lamps come in a 3-piece set. I was only able to find the base. This sold within a day. The listing went active at night, and this sold while I slept. So in the morning I found that this was sold. It was listed at $79.99 and it sold for the full price of $79.99. Now, did I list this too low? Maybe. But I did get a positive feedback on this transaction. It says here, I've been looking for this base for quite a while. I'm thrilled to finally have it. The seller did a great job of packing my glass and got it in the mail to me quickly. Next, we have the KOSTA BODA Fruteria Melon 99816 Gunnel Solid Vintage and Collectible. You can see that it's signed KOSTA BODA Gunnel Solid 99816. I listed this for $227.99. I did take an offer on it for $190 plus shipping. And it did take about 2 years and about 3 months to sell this item. Next, we have An American Life, the autobiography of Ronald Reagan, 1990, hardcover, limited edition. I did list this item for $79.99. It sold for $51.99 on a 35% off sale, and it did take about 1.5 years to sell. Next, we have this 36-inch Madame Alexander Janie doll, 1959 PlayPal type, rare, as is damaged. This doll was listed at $279.99. And I took an offer on it for $192. It did sell in about less than 2 weeks. You can see right here the leg is damaged. There's a crack right here. And it's in rough shape. It's dirty. If you can find it in very good shape, at the time of this recording, this doll could go to about $400, $500 plus. This is the Madame Alexander 1959 PlayPal type, rare as damaged. I don't know what it is, but after that one doll sold, within about 2 days, another doll sold. I guess once you sell something, the algorithm pushes another item of yours that may be in the same category. So this Lee Middleton 21-inch Happy Birthday Teddy Vinyl Edition doll, number 587, was listed for $249.99. I did take an offer on it for $220 plus shipping. It did take about 2.5 years to sell this doll. But again, for some reason, once that one doll sold, this doll actually happened to sell within 2 days. This was in excellent condition. Basically had the box. You can see it comes with the original paperwork. This was an estate sale buy, and I believe that the owner passed away, and the house was just literally filled with only dolls. This was probably never played with. There were boxes and boxes of these dolls where there were some dolls on display in the house, but I believe this doll was probably just bought and just placed in the closet. Now, it probably wasn't open until I opened the box to verify its contents. The Odyssey Metal X1 34.5 inches men's right-handed putter was listed for $64.99, and I took an offer on it for $55 plus shipping. This putter sold within about 5 months. Overall in good condition, but the grip did have some damage. You can see the grip does have some damage right here. Also some peeling right here and some damage right here. Next we have the Glassy Baby Seafoam Candle Votive with label 0341 Pre-Triskeleton Green Opalescent. This Glassy Baby was listed for $79.99, and it was on a 35% off sale and sold for $51.99 plus shipping, because I have found several of these Glassy Babies before, and the newer Glassy Babies, they go for about $60 plus. The older Glassy Babies are like discontinued. They're harder to find. They look different than the newer Glassy Babies. I mean, the overall look is very similar, but like the older Glassy Babies, they do have more crudeness, I would say, to it. The older the Glassy Baby is, you'll find that the more imperfections that they have. Now, this is a vintage Salad Master T304S 6-quart stainless steel Dutch oven stock pot. This was listed for $89.99, and I took an offer on it for $62.99 plus shipping, and it sold within 6 months. Salad Master is a good brand to know for pots, pans, things like that. One of the better brands to know. You can see on the outside there is some type of like what is this, blemish, oxidation, but the inside is pretty clean. And you can see right here Salad Master is marked. Next we have a set of 4 Blenko Tangerine Amberina Crackle Dimple Glass tumblers, Cadmium Glow. This was listed for $219.99 and sold for $175.99 plus shipping. This took about 5 months to sell. You can see the crackle and dimpling, and it does have that cadmium glow. Next we have the 4 Wisteria Fostoria 5098, 2 ounces, 5.5 inches tall, Wine Goblets Neodymium Glass. This was listed for $199.99, and I took an offer on it for $170. This was an international sale, and it took about 2 weeks to sell. So I would say this is a very fast sell. And you can see it's kind of like purple. If you don't know what neodymium glass is, depending on what type of neodymium glass it is, it will change colors slightly from blue to purple. So there was a bubble inclusion in one of the glasses. So the outside is like very smooth, but the inside is scalloped. And then if you actually twirl the glass, there's a very nice sparkle to it. These are very beautiful glasses. I was actually thinking of keeping them, but I decided to sell it. And yeah. Now this is Wolf for Pottery Barn McKenna large ivory leather jewelry box with no key. I listed this item for $199.99. I took an offer on it for $120. It did take about 4 months to sell. You can see that there are some blemishes. The corner right here, some markings right here, some cracking in the interior. If it was in good condition, well over $200 for this box. Next, we have a sealed American Girl Molly Pastimes craft book, cookbook, paper dolls, theater kit. It was listed for $99.95, and it was on a 30% discount and sold for $69.97 plus shipping. It did take about 9 months to sell. Next, we have the Franz Porcelain by the Sea collection octopus figurine FZ01450. This was listed for $149.99. This sold for $104.99 at 30% off, and it did take about 6 months to sell. We have this Majolica cabbage leaf plate, grapevine green pottery antique, 8.5 inches wide. This was listed for $79.99. I took an offer on it for $48, and it did take about 5 months to sell. You can see it does have this rich or dark green color. Now, this is a Marcia of California oyster plate, pink, green, gold as is. This was listed for $129.99. I took an offer on it for $99 plus shipping. This sold within about 2 weeks. You can see that there is a crack right here. Also, you can see the crack goes across the back. And I show it on the last photo of how long the crack is, about 4 inches. And I do have it listed or described in the description that it does have a crack about 4 inches long. This is why I have the ruler right here. Also, you can see the marking right here, Marcia of California. I do believe that this oyster plate, this handle might be a modification to the oyster plate. I've been looking for this oyster plate or trying to find like other comps for this oyster plate. Cannot find it because of the damage and all the chipping and things like that. I did price it low, but typically on an older oyster plate like this, like real antiques, if it was like a real antique porcelain oyster plate, I would actually post it higher. I sold many different oyster plates before, and the highest price tag that I've sold on an oyster plate was, I think, over $500. If you can find antique oyster plates, or oyster plates for that matter, they could go upwards of a couple $100 plus. So oyster plates are something to be looking for when you're looking for items to resell. They don't pop up too often, but if they do, be sure to be the first one to grab it. And at least look it up to see if they're going for a high dollar amount. Next, we have this vintage 1981 Budweiser Holiday Beer Stein Snowy Woodland Clydesdale Ceramart mug. Now, this item was listed for $109.95. I did take an offer on it for $50. It did take about 9 months to sell. You can see the Clydesdale horses right here. This is a 9.5 inch tall nesting doll, 10 pieces with floral patterns. This item does have a little bit of light scratches to it. I did list it for $109.99. And I took an offer on it for $60. This was an international sale. It did take about 1.5 years to sell. I did put a penny up here for reference. Now the last item I have is this vintage copper tone Discobolus statue XEM Greece, 7.25 inches tall. I did list this item for $89.95. It did sell for the full asking price, but it did take about 8 months to sell. So that is it, guys. That is what I sold for the month of May. The high dollar items, or items that sold for $50 and over. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and press that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time.